Hello, everyone watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. It's another episode of NRG Insights. And for those who don't know, so this is where we speak to influential people on the market when it comes to financial services, whether that be lending, broking, or ancillary products into financial services. And today, I've got Grant Hendry from Foundation Home Loans. Thanks for joining me, Grant.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time coming, so I'm glad we finally got there.
For like 2 years. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I've been playing hard to get, so we got there.
Good. So talk to me about your kind of financial services journey for people that don't know you, up to where you are now as sales director of Foundation.
Yes, I've been in the industry for now 25 years, and I think if you had asked me at 16 years old, would I be working in mortgages and financial services and looking at computers, then absolutely would have been a no. My career ambitions was to be in the Royal Marines or the fire service. My dad was a policeman, so the services was the direction that I thought my career was going to be. And I was a reasonably successful ice hockey player. I played at a very good standard in the UK, and it was that got me into mortgages in the first place.
That's the standard route, isn't it, ice hockey?
Absolutely, it's a natural progression from playing ice hockey to working in financial services. But I got the opportunity. There's about 4 guys who were playing ice hockey. We were playing for the Peterborough Pirates, and one of them, a guy called Jason Porter, was playing whilst also working for Abbey National.
Yeah.
Then became Abbey, and then became Santander and so forth. But he was there, and then he got 2 or 3 of the guys in the team jobs there. And I was like, I don't even really know what a mortgage is, don't know what an intermediary is. Didn't even have a mortgage myself at the time. And so he got me a job there, and it was a bit like a telephone BDM / underwriting role. We had like satellite offices. And I started there, and the reason, and there is a purpose to kind of focusing on that bit, but I sat there for a long time. It was really just to keep me busy during the day, because we were being paid for our hockey and in a team house and everything else. I just wanted to really kind of occupy my brain a bit more. And so from there, I was on the telephones, didn't really know what was going on, but one time the phone called, and a broker contacted us, and she was really angry. She was really peed off that we hadn't underwritten this case. She didn't know what was going on, hadn't been given any updates.
Yeah.
And so she started the call, and she goes, I said, right, okay, I can see your frustration, but can you just give me the account number for the case? So they give us an AF number, was the Abbey case. So gave me this AF account number, and her name came up. So I said, can I just confirm I'm speaking to Hermione Pussy? And her name, she goes, I beg your pardon. It was like a Miss Bouquet moment when she turned around and went, my name is Hermione Pussy. And I was like, oh, sorry. But that light bulb moment for me, and that is exactly the pinpoint moment for me with regards to how my career then progressed within financial services, was that very quickly I realised it's about helping people, which is why you go back to my kind of military and everything else, and wanting to be in the services was around helping people. Yeah. And straight away, I just got it. I was like, right, so let me just confirm what the issue is. Took it over to the underwriter.
Got her name right.
And I got her name right. But so from there, I then kind of got it. I was really excited. It was about building relationships with brokers and winning them over and going the extra mile. And I would do things when I wouldn't be ethical now necessarily, but I would give them my mobile number because I wanted them to get hold of me. Good brokers, I was like, here, I'll give you my mobile number. And they would call me in the evenings. They would call me on weekends, days I was off. But I was really passionate about trying to drive things forward from there. So I was really lucky. I got the opportunity to then progress to becoming a business development manager with Santander, and had really good people around me, people like Paul McCarthy, who's still in the industry, still with Santander, but was fantastic for the advice, understanding how to kind of structure my day and everything else like that. And so I was there, and I can remember my boss at the time, her name was Kate, and she said, so where do you see yourself progressing, Grant? I was like, are you joking? I've made it in life. I was like, I've got a mobile phone and a company car. What more can I want in life? I've achieved everything. So to see where I've kind of got to now has been an incredible kind of journey, really. And so from Santander, I then went to Nationwide as a business development manager. And at Nationwide, there was a guest speaker. We had this event, and he then said to me, he goes, right, Grant, I want you to or not Grant specifically, sorry. He said to the room, he goes, right, I'm going to show you this box. He drew this box and he said, basically, got this staircase and it's got an electric plate on it. And then we had some bananas hanging from the ceiling. They did this experiment. They put one monkey into this room. He saw the bananas, wanted to climb up the stairs and grab the bananas. But he electrocuted himself. Like, whoa, I'm not doing that again. You put a second monkey and a third monkey in, and exactly the same thing happens. They tell each other, don't do it, be negative, and can't get to the bananas. You put the fourth monkey in. The fourth monkey says, look, if we work together, you go onto my shoulders, and then we'll work together, and then we'll get the bananas and share them out, and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And he said, basically, you can't have a business of rogue monkeys, but 1 in 4 be a rogue monkey. And I was like, that's it. I'm a bloody rogue monkey. Right? And from that, it literally hit me that it wasn't just about doing activity from a BDM's point of view, just going out, doing appointments, seeing the same brokers, doing the same things. I wanted to really try and drive things with regards to my career and how I felt that things should be done potentially in the industry. So that rogue monkey moment then led me. I came back and I said to
that might be the title of this podcast, by the way. It might be Rogue Monkey.
Exactly. Well, there we go. Exactly. So so from there, I was then like, right, okay, I want to do more. I want to do more in this industry as a whole within financial services. So I went away. I got my International Financial Advisors certificate. Yeah. Went and worked in Switzerland for a year. Was going really well. I think the exposure that gave me to some very senior clients over in Switzerland was just incredible. Just that experience, really learning more around overall business and how it all works. So I was dealing with a lot of clients within the UN, CERN, American Tobacco. There's a lot of businesses with their offices there with people, and I just learned so much about different industries. But from a family point of view, it just wasn't working. We had 2 young children at the time. Now I've got 3 kids as well. But then came back to the UK and was trying to work out what I was going to do. Got back into mortgage broking. So I've got my CMAP, became a mortgage broker. Then Metro Bank, an opportunity came there to get back into the intermediary side. Was there for a couple of years. Went to Atom Bank, which I really wanted to understand the digital side of the business. From there, went to work for a business called Mortgage Gym, which once again was around data, streamlining the journey, trying to improve that.
Is that the interest inside that digital side? Yeah. You always want to learn about the process side of it, or how we make it better.
And I think there's been some people that have come in to try and disturb the market that we're in, and rightfully so, because if we don't have influence externally coming in and making us reflect, look at ourselves in the mirror and go, are we doing things right here? Is there improvements we can make? And the way in which I to kind of describe it is that there is stuff out there, but you've got to make sure everybody is at the same place for it to work. You can't have one person breaking, going, yeah, we're going to break the line. I'm going to introduce this part of technology to my system. If other people don't evolve and embrace those changes, you kind of get a bit exposed. So we've been on this journey, I would say, for the last 10, 12 years where technology has been kind of coming, going. We're now at that point where I really do. I think the word AI, good, bad, however people want to interpret it, I actually see it as very positive within the business. But across multiple lenders, everybody is trying to embrace AI within their business. And we're seeing some people further along, more successful with it. But that's, I think, a topic in its own right.
Yeah, we'll go through that actually, because it is quite interesting. Because we all know we need to adopt it, right? And we've done it in our process, but it's not. People panic about taking away your job, but it is taking away the mundane, I think. But that just leaves us more time to do the thing we're really good at, which is relationship management, etc., and actually helping people.
You're spot on, and I think that's where people need to be to go. It's not about losing people or reducing your staff. It's about getting people to work more effectively. And take that heavy lifting, those mundane type of roles that are currently filled, and actually technology can be probably more effective because there's no emotional attachment to it.
Does it? Yeah.
So that part. So from Mortgage Gym, it didn't quite work. I think it was probably a bit ahead of its time, a bit rigid in the way in which it was set up to work. And then I was approached I had several different offers on the table at the time, and then I met with Andrew Ferguson. Had a really good interview with him. Didn't really know what I was kind of letting myself into because I hadn't really worked in the specialist market before. And joined them as a national account manager. Joined them as a national account manager, and then from there progressed. So George G then took over as our managing director, and he then said, "Actually, Grant, I think you're in the wrong place." I've been national account manager, head of national accounts, and then from there he flipped my role into becoming head of sales, so managing the national account piece, but also managing the sales team.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I mean, I'll always be eternally grateful for everybody who has managed me along the way. They've all taken me on this career. They've all given me different things, different styles of management. But I really feel that I've been able to carve out my own style and confidence. And my time at Foundation Home Loans, I've been here now for 8.5 years. And it's honestly been the best part of my career. I've loved every minute of working at Foundation Home Loans. Really, the key to it is the people and the culture, and the want to lend, and the want to work with intermediaries and work with intermediary partners across the board of your networks and clubs and your packages. And that's been a fantastic journey so far.
Amazing. And you're clearly passionate about it, and it is lovely to see. And I do think the thing you talked about at the beginning about kind of being service-led, like wanting to be either in the forces or, that helping people, it isn't a particularly salesy character or trait. But all the sales directors and the head of sales and that kind of thing I speak to at the moment, I mean, obviously I'll ask you your opinion on it, but I just think they have something different from the sales mentality, which can be quite selfish in regards to the wanting to help people, and that obviously goes from wanting to help your clients into wanting to help your team. How's that transition from sales to leadership? Did it feel organic, or was there lots you had to kind of...
I think it felt organic, but I made massive mistakes along the way. And I think if you've got good leadership above you that support you and trust you, that you'll make mistakes. And I say it to people that work under me, people work alongside me, but also any new starters. So we do induction calls with any new starters. And I really encourage people to make mistakes. Like, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. I still do it on a daily basis. I'll make a mistake, but it doesn't come from a bad place of what I've done. It comes from a place of thinking it is the right thing to do. And you learn from it and then you move forward. So I think it's been natural, but I have made multiple mistakes. Maybe how I've done a one-to-one with somebody and haven't quite thought about it, or I've sent out a group email to everyone and I've highlighted the person who's done really well and haven't really commented on the person below. And it's just, you're just trying to work on that, how that person feels across the business. But yeah,
it's obviously it's important that you spot it as well, right? You said a level of emotional intelligence. I think you need. Funny enough, it came up yesterday. We were talking about emotional intelligence in sales directors, head of sales. I think that's the difference maker.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of whipping people, get on the phone type mentality anymore. It's about understanding people's emotions, but also if you have cocked up, or if you can look back and go, do you know what, I should have done that better. I think that's a massive trait, right? It's not the old school, just get on with it. Not worry if you upset people.
You're spot on, Marcus, because for me, the big thing that I base my how I sleep at night is on trust.
Yeah.
If you don't trust the people to your left or right, below you, up above you, then you've got no hope, because you're going to be very paranoid. And I think coming from my ice hockey background as well, being in a dressing room where a coach is very passionate. I'll try not to. I don't know what the language rules are on this, but we had some unbelievable coaches over the time of playing ice hockey who were effing and jeffing, and they would come in and they'd smash the dressing room up and stuff. And it came from a place of passion, sometimes rightly, wrongly, but I always responded to that because it showed me that my boss cared.
Yeah.
So I tried to build my team around me and wider within the business that we are one team. And for us to succeed, we all need to be successful. We all need to care. We all need to put that extra shift in. And it's trying to get that balance that some people have not been in a team environment. But for me, being in a team environment has been fundamental, I think, to my success and how I try to motivate people around me.
Funny enough, that was I wrote down as you were talking about. Do you think sport made a massive difference? Because I feel like when I speak to sports, especially team sports, it works for anyone, right? Anyone who's competitive, but team sports is just you're just aligned with how business works.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's if you see, and it's the bits that you pick up away from the numbers. So I look at the numbers, and then I'll speak to Nathan, who's my head of sales, and I go, this region's underperforming. at the moment. Why is that? How are they? What's going on outside of their work that potentially is having an impact on that? You try to kind of peel back the layers to understand with your team what they need. What additional support do they need? Do they need some additional training? Do they need a bit of time away from kind of doing the rigmarole, I'm doing 20 appointments a week. I'm working my absolute socks off for the business, but the business is coming in. Let's take a step back, put our arm around them. Let's look at where they're spending their time, their activity. How can we help guide them and get them back onto the tracks? Versus them slipping further and further away from what they need to be doing. And that kind of saying, you can't see the wood through the trees. When you're down, it's quite difficult. And the most important thing is we rally round to support that.
It's also difficult, and I know I've touched on this with a few people. It's people or process, right? And you always think you've got the right people right, but there obviously comes to a stage with a few where you can't. It's like I see all the time when people are doing the activity, it doesn't hit right. You know, they're not bringing in the numbers even though their activity's right. So there's a disconnect there, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you deal with that disconnect? 'Cause if someone's doing all the activity but they're not doing it, I don't think that's a sales director problem, because you think you've nailed the process, but
no. And this is one of the bits that kind of the learning piece to me, and it comes back to that word trust. So once again, you want them to treat their region as their own business. Now, I've got one region that has been established. The regional account manager has been in that area for 9 years, knows all of the brokers, doesn't need to be doing the same level of activity as somebody else. Their role changes in what they do. So I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush and go, right, everyone should be doing 20 appointments a week or 10 appointments a week. Because from my side, you do what you think is right in your region, and we can then see the trends. So I spend a lot of time looking at data, using teams within the business that can kind of pull data for me, find trends and look at that. Yeah. And then that helps me identify where those opportunities are. So let's say, for example, in my South Central region, their HMO business was going literally up, and then it's just dropped off a cliff and it's just dropping away. Let's go back and look at what we were doing during that period of time. What support do we need from marketing to be driving that type of messaging? What has another lender come in? Is there another BDM? Is our rates changed in that specific area? So you almost bespoke the requirements and needs and the style in which that manager needs to work by giving them the tools to identify where they need to be spending some more of their time, which are those brokers that have dropped away from doing that type of business. So being fluid, I think, is an important part, rather than just go, no, this is the process, this is what we do. You're gonna lose good people, you're gonna lose business because you're just with your blinkers on, sticking in one lane, and that doesn't work. You've got to be flexible.
I always wondered out obviously from a recruitment point of view, I always look at it, but you've got like your really experienced guys, you do end up being relationship managers, right? They've got their favourite, say 15 brokers, but they're always going to hit their targets from those. How do you what's the right word without being how do you combat the fact that they don't need to go out anymore? Because there are always new brokers appearing all the time, aren't they, in every region, and you've got like a satisfactory region, but only because we see it quite a lot, and especially in the specialist lender space, you kind of get comfortable in a region because you know they do the numbers, but how do you not miss out on the new people? Because you also, like you say, you can't target people who are smashing it on doing 20 new business a week as well. So how do you combat that?
It comes down to the hunt and farm scenario. So one of the bits I really wanted to cover as well, which probably goes against from the recruitment point of view, because I know you're doing business, but you need to start at the bottom bit and bring those people into my vision. Yeah. So telephone BDMs, and bring those people up, because my biggest thing that I love to do within the business is recruit within. Yeah. Because they get the culture of the business straight away.
By the way, even though it doesn't help me business-wise, I'm a massive advocate for the internals moving up. Because otherwise, I mean, we have this problem all the time that everyone is looking for the BDM with 5 years experience with their black book, and actually you've got amazing talent that no one's looking at because they haven't. It's kind of it's an easy win, right? Just going out and grabbing someone who's probably done it before, but actually getting that young blood through, I'm a big fan, because we're running out at the top. There's no.
Yeah. Definitely right, and you're, from my point of view, one of my biggest successes in a way is that I had 2 people that left. So they kind of worked their way through from, let's say, asset management, a telephone BDM, became a BDM, and then all of a sudden they get attracted by bigger pay rise and everything else. So
that's when I come in after you train them well.
Absolutely, yeah, you come poaching at that point. But for them, it's like a revolving door. I said, make sure it doesn't hit you on the way out. I said, be a good leaver from the business. And culturally, when they try and go into a new business, it doesn't quite work because they're then in a situation where it is this really.
Which does happen as well, doesn't it? You know, you could be amazing in one business and just not click in something else. I see it all the time. Like, horses for courses is a cliche.
And I've had two people come back to us, and where there's opportunities where I do have availability to fit them in, or I can change the business model because I need that team balance to be right. I think Alex Ferguson, you take a David Beckham, goes, nah, you're getting too big for your boots. You're not bigger than the club.
Yeah.
Anybody in that situation, but if I bring someone in and the balance is right, looking at your team, going, actually, I need that character. Yeah. And similarly, going right back to my ice hockey journey, I got released 1 year from Peterborough, so it changed from Peterborough Pirates to Peterborough Phantoms, and that's all I'd known for 10 years, just being in that dressing room with the team and everything else. But my coach phoned me up and he let me go. He goes, Grant, I'm really sorry to do this, but I haven't got a place for you in the team. And I was like, you're joking. I didn't know what to do. I was completely lost. Anyway, I played then down for the second team for Peterborough. Anyway, he then phoned me 3 or 4 months into the season and said, Grant, I need you back in the team. He goes, I didn't appreciate what you brought to the dressing room, just your character, how you brought players together. He goes, I've got big divides in the dressing room now, and I need you back in there to fill that role of being the gel. Yeah. He came back in and then was assistant captain of the team. And do you know what? You don't have to be the most skillful person, but you're going to bring something to the team. And when I say team, I mean the business now, the foundation. You've got to bring something to us that we're missing. And that gel of the team, I've got such a great group of people. The difficult thing that we have more in our telephony team and actually wider business is that when COVID happened and we recruited people outside of the Bracknell area where we were before, we picked up some really good skill sets of people, great experience, but then the culture then becomes a little bit more difficult.
It's so tough for everyone because we're all guessing, weren't we?
Yeah.
How to build a culture outside of your office was like the number one conversation we're having people, and actually it's really tough.
Yeah.
Because how have you transitioned back into the office now, or are you still?
No. So we're trying to find that kind of hybrid model. I mean, one of the great things with what we've done. So if you take our telephony BDM team, I've got a BDM in Wales, I've got a BDM in Birmingham, I've got a BDM in Newcastle, BDM in Bournemouth, and within their regions, they speak the local dialect of what people are talking. So it's great away from a broker side. It feels a lot closer to them, which they really like. So that's been a benefit to us. But then trying to get people down into the office becomes a little bit more difficult. So we're trying.
What's tricky a bit is that I don't know anyone. Well, you might be able to correct me on this, but I can't see many people getting promoted from home because you're just not as visible. I think it's really tough. And they're not. And also on a learning capacity type thing. I think we learn way more from the chair turning and listening to someone else being brilliant at their job, which you just can't do from home. I think it's a really tough gig to kind of move up the ladder. You can be good at what you're doing, and I imagine you've trained people well, but it's a tough gig to get exceptional.
Yeah. So I agree and I disagree slightly. Where I agree with you, absolutely. Me having a Teams meeting. 70% as effective as I would be if I was in the boardroom.
You know, it's not the same as turning around.
Absolutely, and you learn and you listen to the person. I've got this case, and quickly you can deal with it. Versus putting something into Teams, going, guys, help me. Anyone know the answer to this question? So that bit, I 100% agree. Where I think we benefit is if somebody is a bit more self-driven, puts their head above the parapet, and can stand out. If I've got a need, let's say in Newcastle, and I need to recruit a BDM now, I've already got somebody who culturally gets the business. So they're in a good position from that side, and they're building relationships with brokers in that area already. So that's where I would say we benefit, because if not, I have to bring somebody in externally to that area.
A good point, actually. If you've got location, like locality-wise, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, from that bit within our world, so from a sales side, absolutely, it can work quite well.
Mm.
But I agree with you 100%. And I think from an underwriting side and the wider business, you have to it comes back to that word trust. You've got to trust the people are putting in a real shift, which we see. But it can very easily where somebody just, the mental side as well, just being sat at home, you might be sat at your dining room table doing work from there, and then the kids come in. I think being around people is really important.
I
So
think as well, utilising what you do with, like we talked about, like your emotional intelligence is tougher for you
yeah,
because you're not seeing people on a day to day. You don't even see people's expression. I
yeah,
speak to some really, really smart sales directors, and they're like, they spot people as they come in, and go, right, that's not right. You know,
yeah.
this is something you've got to fix, and that's hard, right? Because we physically can't see the day to day. We can see the data and those nice touch points we get with people, but
Yeah.
it's the little tweaks where you would notice that.
Oh, well, and I think that such a simple thing. When people used to go into the office, they would dress in business attire to go into the office.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get to a stage, we've really tried to have to drum it out of people, where you'd come onto a call and they would have their cameras off, go, I haven't done my hair, I haven't done my makeup, I haven't got a shirt on, or I'm still in my pajamas. But that mentally, every day, let's just say 1%, eats away at you because you don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really try and drive into the team. You might be working from home, but still be in that work mentality. Like before even COVID happened, and this is going back to my nationwide days, and I'd have an admin day working from home. I would still put my suit on. I'd put my tie on. Because it was a way of telling my wife and kids, I'm at work.
Leave me
I
be.
might be at home, but I'm at work.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to mentally kind of look after yourself, and you've got to be a lot more conscious of it. Whereas before, you go in the office 9 to 5:30, it's just mundane. You just get into the routine of putting your business attire
Yeah,
on.
you're just used to that standard, aren't you? But your standards, not your standard drop at home, but you're mentally they're just
Absolutely, all of those things add up. It's the same. Like you work out, you're in fantastic shape. But if you got injured and didn't go to the gym for 2 weeks, you start noticing a difference in how you
I feel like
feel.
you've just been watching me, Grant, because I've had a rotator cuff injury and I went back to the gym this week, but I got 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I felt awful.
Yeah.
Like mentally as well. It's just horrid.
Big time. But that mental it's essential. I've done something to my elbow and haven't worked out now for probably 3 or 4 weeks. And you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm not as impressed with this right now. And I take
That's a
that
really
down.
nice way of putting it. I was talking to people about our age in the gym the other day about looking yourself in the mirror like you.
Yeah. And you come downstairs and then you don't feel as confident, and it just eats away. So you have to really fight it yourself, and it's got to come from within to be able to.
It's like a habit thing as well, isn't it? I mean, I know you like it to the gym then, but like if I don't train right, I don't eat right. If I don't eat right, I then don't set my day properly. So it's just the little things, and it all kicks off from, like you said, chucking a suit on or working out, or whatever it is. It's that natural habit thing that you
definitely, and it does snowball. So it starts with you not exercising, then it starts with, well, how am I going to entertain? How am I going to kind of keep myself feeling good? I'll go out for the pub with my mates. So you go to the pub, and then you've had a few drinks, and then before you know it, you're getting a kebab on the way home. Then you're having a really bad night's sleep, and it just snowballs. That looking after yourself is really important.
Amazing. We've been talking for ages, and I've got so much to say to you, but I appreciate we've already. But I want to touch on the fact that, like, on the leadership side of things, how do you spot the guys coming through now? What are you looking for when you're seeing, like, these are the next sales guy, this is the next team leader, mentor, whatever it is? What is the thing that you notice about people, especially in the next generation? Is an interesting conversation because their drivers are very different from perhaps what we were. But what are you looking for in that next group of leaders?
So I'm looking for patience. Firstly, I won't say individual names, but I've got people who have come in after a week going, yeah, I really want to be a BDM. Brilliant. Bottle that. Excellent. We will support you on that journey, but be patient. Like, to become a BDM, it took me 2.5 years from being a telephone BDM.
How are you finding that now with because we are in a shorter term gratification type generation, right? I see it all the time. Like, I want this because people phone us and they say, I'm ready for this. And you think, you've only been with your company 12 months, right? You don't, you know, we can't move you on. It doesn't make sense. Just work hard, try and be better at that business. And then if it's genuinely a value thing later on, absolutely, we'll have the conversation. But people want stuff a bit quicker. I don't know how you manage that.
Yeah, so for me, you take the patience firstly. Okay, brilliant. Now I need to see consistency because you might have a good week and go, oh wow, that guy's the next
I can
BDM.
nail this.
And then the next week they've phoned in sick 2 days. And
Yeah.
then next day they've started work late or something else has happened. So for me, I then need consistency. I need them to be consistently good at what they're doing. The next thing is that positive attitude, the glass half full. So rates might change, criteria might change, service might be impacted. How do you protect the business? How do you flip that into a positive? So that's the next thing, kind of that positive and adding that into consistency.
Sorry to jump in. Just about the protect the business thing, I think is really important. When when you're looking at leaders, if they're talking about the business, they understand that they are a really important part of something much bigger, and you're all aiming for the same thing. I think that's a key thing, key kind of takeaway, isn't it?
I'm big on
why they're doing it.
But sometimes, once again, you look in and you go, "Oh, this is we've declined this case, and the broker's frustrated." Think about the business. If we lend to that customer that we feel potentially something will happen to that property, or that security isn't effective for us, that we would be able to sell that if we were to have to repossess it. Think about the business, and then think how you deliver that message to the broker to say, "We can't lend. I'm really sorry. We really want your business. We really want to work with you. These are the reasons why." I'll set up a call with the underwriter just to go through it in a bit more detail. I'll set a call up with my boss. Go the extra mile. Don't just hide from that and go, "I'm not responding to that." Sorry, can't help. Computer says no. You've got to address it face on, but then use the people around you to support you in delivering that message so that broker does not close the door and doesn't want to work with you in the future. So be transparent within that. The next things I think on the development thing is transparency. So tell us about your career path. Tell us what you want to do. And then let's put a goal and a plan in place to make sure you're hitting these goals along the way. But that job still, I'm not saying you will have that job in 12 months' time. I'm saying you will be ready in 12 months' time, or you'll be ready in 2 years' time. And it comes down to their managers and having really good, effective one-to-ones with your teams, and then feeding it back into me. So I always, when I do my one-to-ones with my management team, is kind of, let's go through all of your team. How are they feeling? What are they? What's motivating them at the moment? How's their calls looking at the moment? What's their activity looking like? Are they responding to change? And I'll sometimes, not intentionally, but I'll throw a bit of a curveball going, "Guys, I really want us to focus on this." And it's who reacts to that and goes, "Yeah, I'm going over the trenches. I'll do that for you, boss." I remember doing this in my English exam, which was charge of the light brigade, which is one is not the reason why, one is but to do or die. And I really do kind of go, "Guys, I want you going into battle in that way. Don't question. You can afterwards go, it hasn't worked because of this and this, and look at that." And I really want the team to kind of entrust in me and my management team below me and the wider business as well. But we all go forward together. We all challenge us and take this on, and it works. It works really well for us as a business. I'm really proud of the people that I work with, and if you trust them, you're in a really good place.
Amazing. I'm taking it all in purely on a selfish point, because the first thing I was talking about with our new sales director this morning is about one-to-ones, about how we actually make a difference. Because I don't think I do. I think I'm very good at going, just trying to G people up, and I'm a fairly good cheerleader. But actually, there's an element of not progressing people because I'm not as thorough at it. So it's interesting what you're saying about making sure in the one-to-ones you find out about the individuals and make sure you go through. It's not just a data-driven thing, right?
Yeah, when you see a one-to-one come up, when I've got one-to-one tomorrow, I'm then thinking from then, what am I going to do in that one-to-one? What do I want to get? Now, the curveball might come in that the person I'm doing the one-to-one with says, "Oh, Grant, I'm really pissed off about this." Or it's like, "Okay, well, we're going to have to change the direction." But it's then going, "Okay, well, why is that? What's happened?" And it could have been something that I've done. I've changed it. Gone, "Actually, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it this way." And then I've got to explain why. But it's kind of like going back to that, pulling the layers back. Well, why has that happened? Okay, well, why? And it's the three whys, like dealing with a child in a way. I'm not saying the team are like that, but it's like, okay, well, let's get to the root cause of the problem for us to be able to move forward. You can't just peel one layer back and go, "Yeah, that's fine." So one-to-ones are really important, but they have to be flexible. And one question, sometimes people are always fearful of what response they get back, so they don't ask the question. But I always ask the question, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are the chances that you're going to leave the business, or your motivation for the business?
Do people tell you?
Well, I like to think they do, because it comes back to trust. I don't then go to my boss and go,
He's
oh, just so
looking.
you know, I've got a really pissed off staff member at the moment who's at a 5, and they're likely to be leaving the business or looking for another job.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, okay, well, why do you feel like that? Do other people within your team feel like that? And then I'm thinking, right, how do I sort this out? How do I get this done? And I will reflect that to my boss. I've got an unhappy team here at the moment because ...
Yeah.
And we'll then address it from the top. My boss will help advise me on how to potentially handle it, and I will then deliver that to my bosses, and then we'll get to the root cause. But yeah, keeping staff motivated is really difficult, but it's also massively rewarding. I love it when we do something and we get everybody together. So we'll do, like, let's say, a campaign call on a specific topic, and we get everybody into the office. And there was an occasion, Exco had a board meeting in the office, and I brought in like 20 people in the sales team. We had like a big Wolf of Wall Street bell in there. We were ringing the bell, and just the buzz in the office. There was this bottle of champagne for the person who made the best call.
Yeah.
And this bottle was literally being taken from desk to desk. But the buzz that created within the team, and then to the wider business, and to the Exco members who've got teams underneath, going, wow, look at those guys, they're really up for it. And for me, as a proud father almost, to sat there going, look at this is fantastic. And it's not me, it's the sales, it's the management team underneath me that get the team rallied together. But it's
I
a good
think
environment.
it's really good. I know genuinely. I know we've gone over, but I could listen to it all day. I've got about 400 things I wrote down that I've got.
Oh, sorry, I haven't answered any of that.
No, it was perfect. It was just I'm just listening away because you're clearly very passionate about it, and I'm lucky that I get to speak to lots of sales directors, and I think that is the one thing, like, you really care, and it comes across it like that. So that's exceptional. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it. But if we want to get a hold of you, Grant, and have a conversation with you, obviously all of your socials will be on our socials. But what's the best way of catching you?
Catching me would be on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
is probably my go-to. I don't really use Facebook or Instagram or anything else like that. So yeah, LinkedIn would be the best way of contacting me. But it's been really good. And apologies it's taken so long to do it, but I've really wanted to do it.
It's worth it. I might do a second one now. Now I've got you one.
Good. Oh,
we'll go through the rest. But I really appreciate your time, Grant. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. It's another episode of NRG Insights. And again, Grant, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.